Alright, so we're gonna do this. Why am I echoing? Alright, so I'm gonna review like Asmongold take on this whole Ubisoft thing. This whole Assassin's Creed Shadows Ubisoft thing. I watched about 10 minutes, I think 10, 15 minutes of it, like half of it already, and I was kind of like surprised on his take. So I was like, yo, this is probably a good thing to review, because a lot of the people that I've watched, they either super far left, super far right, or they're just kind of like skipping over the obvious elephant in the room. It's not even an elephant in the room. They're trying to make it like, there isn't a hint of racism attached to this stuff, right? But I like his take so far. His audience, though, you'll see, is kind of like out there. But yeah, let's go ahead. Let's watch.
This is really funny. They're trying their absolute best to get people to play and buy Assassin's Creed Shadows. They released a story trailer and everything. This is the event. I don't know if they have the trailer in this event, or in this video. So we're going to watch the story trailer first that was released by Ubisoft themselves. And then we'll watch the actual preview, okay? Here we go.
See, I actually want to buy it. I want to play with somebody that look like me. Now, I get it. We'll get into that. I get it. But I'm actually looking forward to it. But I see where the problem lies. I completely understand.
That dislike ratio? Well, we'll see what happens.
It's hard to remember. Blood.
Breathe deeply. Tell me about your nightmare.
There is evil at work in our homeland. Greedy lords who bring war.
He comes.
Oh, wow.
Oda Nobunaga. Because of the attack. This blade cannot be taken. No.
I'm gonna leave a link to the Ubisoft trailer. I just want to get into his actual like take or stance on the game, which is kind of refreshing in my opinion. It's refreshing.
Interest helped steer me in the right direction. A general theme I found compelling was how Shadows emphasized harmonizing with the open world. A cultural element.
After looking at it, I wanted to like fix the architecture. I know that was one of the complaints from the Japanese community, that they said that a lot of the architecture kind of looked like Chinese, but I don't know. I'm not really familiar with it, so I'm just wondering if they fix that.
Element the developers wanted to highlight with the Japanese setting.
For all those we care about.
This theme also extends to the side activities and how the world changes over time with shifting seasons that alter the terrain.
Yeah, Wukong had this too.
Shadows ditches the need for hunting, and instead, you can find and draw rare wildlife found in the wild. It was an odd activity at first, but I found them endearing and a relaxing change of pace. I soon found myself being taken in by how atmospheric and thoughtful the setting...
So you can draw a picture of them instead of hunting them? Huh? What the hell?
I actually don't mind that. Yo, you can't kill shit all the time, bro. Dang. just take in the scenery, draw it. I don't know. How that's gonna do against the pace of the game, but it is what it is. I'm not too like thrown off by that, like how he is. He's like, I want to kill shit. I want to kill it.
L was.
That was worth the wait.
Shadows also emphasizes the dynamic between the two protagonists and their agency within the world after bonding over being outcasts within the country.
That's good.
I really enjoyed their dynamic within the story, and they play well with each other during cutscenes. Yasuke is a gentle giant and wise samurai enforcer who offers some poignant insights while learning about Japanese culture.
The reigns will continue in a different form. Another battle, same war.
Naoe's growth into an assassin with a heavy legacy to uphold shows an early look at the dramatic highs of the main story.
I cannot wait to play this.
You're free to switch off characters in the open world and during moments in the main story, letting you play as who you want in most key missions.
You're right. Let's do it.
But in an interesting addition, you also have the option of playing in canon mode, which presents a defined story without major narrative choices, which was added after developers saw how many fans were debating what the definitive story was for Valhalla and Odyssey.
Okay.
So it is you.
Yasuke and Naoe also represent the different extremes of Assassin's Creed's combat and stealth experiences, which have also seen clear upgrades across the board in Shadows.
That was crazy. My man is just straight bull in a China shop. Well, bull in a Japanese shop. Yeah, he's just a tank.
Combat, there's a heightened need for dodging and parrying strikes, crucial to piercing through armor to deliver a killing blow.
I will admit, it seems like the kill attacks, like the fatality attacks, are pretty good. Where you cut their head off and they're dead. That's cool. Like the base combat, I think is kind of mediocre, but that in itself is cool.
Ghost of Tsushima's offensive and defensive style of swordplay, but it also has familiar AC combat skills such as power grabs and the always funny kick move I used plenty of times.
Bro, this man is launching people across rivers. They OD'd on your Sasuke's power. Like, what the fuck?
I generally felt pleased with the more thoughtful approach.
No, you're just big, strong black man.
To combat. However, it also comes with more challenges, which unexpectedly made some of the encounters in the game feel a bit more difficult. Shadows also struggled to present fights with multiple foes accurately, and it can be easy to get overwhelmed by enemies coming in off-screen.
I don't know why so many games fixate on making you zoomed in like this. It's so annoying. I really think it's why do you do this? Why does every game do this?
Still, when the new combat Shadows hits, it certainly does hit.
Wait, let's skip a little bit. I'll leave a link so you guys can watch it, but I want to get to the nitty gritty of why I wanted to review his videos, because his takes on it, his stance on it,
which appropriately incorporates elements from Ubisoft's other. Furthermore, there's a greater emphasis on light and darkness.
Yeah.
You can even snuff out candles to add some cover. My favorite addition is the ability to go prone, which, as you can expect, is a game changer. Both characters can...
Yeah, I'm going to play as him the whole time.
In addition to being incapable of climbing certain areas, he's also not great at performing the leap of faith.
It's harder than it looks.
As for Naoe,
he's a tank?
she's a skilled assassin with access to a grappling hook and smoke bombs. However, her nimble combat style is far more reliant on parrying and dodging, and one hit from an elite enemy's heavy strike can take a chunk of her health bar.
Yeah, I would expect
While
that.
Pulling off Naoe's combat skills was
I want to skip past this, but then I get caught up watching the game itself.
satisfying.
I feel like this is shaping up to be a. I mean, it's a big title. It's had a lot of culture war like battleground content about like Yasuke and this girl. So I think IGN is probably going to give it an 8 or a 9, but I also think that it's probably going to be about like a 7 or an 8 game. I think it'll be above average and it'll be decent, but I don't think it's going to totally like blow people away.
I actually agree with that. I actually see like a 7 or 8 game. In general, in my opinion, a lot of the Assassin's Creeds have been just 7s and 8s. So
that's what I'm kind of expecting. Watch them rated a 4.
Create a base of operations. As you recruit allies, they'll head to your hideout to open up shops and offer new side missions that incentivize revisits to previous zones.
Yeah, this is good.
But Shadows takes this feature a step further by allowing you to build out your custom village in the vein of Animal Crossing.
Yeah, this is cool.
Sorry, I don't have YouTube Premium. I said that prior. Don't know whether the mic caught it.
The Town Builder mode offers
cool.
plenty of options to add necessities and some personal touches to the hideout. I spent an unexpected amount of time building more housing and decorating my space with Shinto shrines.
Is this for the target audience? I don't think it is.
Yeah, my dude is funny. Listen, I actually like stuff like this. It kind of breaks up the action sometimes. I like decorating shit. I like creating villages and outposts and stuff like that. So the fact that in Valhalla you were able to do a little bit of that, like when you decorated around like the village. But I actually like stuff like this. I don't see anything wrong. It is what it is. So if it's for the target audience, I played all of them. I'm a gamer. I think it's for the target audience. So I'll play it. I don't mind it. But to each his own.
Like, I wouldn't have a problem with like adding in all the, you know, like epic puppers and the doges and everything like that. It'd be all right. But I mean, this is an Assassin's Creed game. What are we doing?
And pets, such as cats and tanuki. There are also side activities, such as a visually striking meditation minigame to help you earn additional perks. It's an unexpected...
I think Ubisoft is just trying to check every cultural Japanese box there is. So drawing, some cats and dogs, every damn thing, because of the dilemma and the shit surrounding the game.
Unexpectedly cozy side activity for an AC game, and I was quickly taken in by how satisfying it was to walk around a massive village I had made in a reasonably short time.
So I think this is going to be one of the questions that a lot of developers are going to need to ask. I think that in the last 10 years or so, we've seen the expansion of video games to include more and more things and more features and more functions. And I think that people are getting to a point of feature fatigue, where you ask yourself the question, does this meditation minigame make the game better? Is this about the core gameplay loop? And less is more. Yeah, less is more in a lot of cases. And I feel like a couple of really great examples.
Again, I think Ubisoft was just trying to check every Japanese cultural box there was, because of the out-of-touch situation that they got going on. So all the delays, there's how can we put more things without like completely destroying this game? We spent so much money into it already. You know what? Let's draw in the sand. Let's do some feng shui stuff. Let's just throw in everything.
Of that being the case, I think Space Marine 2 is probably the strongest and most direct example, but then you can also compare it to things like, for example, Black Myth Wukong. Black Myth Wukong knows what it is, and it knows what it's not. And I think that when I see an over-reliance and a focus on this, like, base-building thing, and, like, you can pick out dogs, and there's, like, a meditation mini-game, maybe I'm just being a toxic gamer, but, like, who the fuck asked? Who asked for any of this bullshit? What is this? Like, what's going on? Like, who's making these decisions? Like, how is development time going into this? You're taking some of that money. I mean, that's it.
He's spazzing right now. I'm trying to get to the talking points.
Agree that it's more important than what I'm saying. It's not that you're wrong, but I just think that my perspective is more right. It's a prioritization, yes. Zach got triggered over some dogs. Yes! Yes!
So far, Assassin's Creed Shadows is shaping up to be a solid follow-up to Ubisoft's ambitious Valhalla. Even if the familiar crop of open-world bugs and quirks popped up during my time, familiar crop of open-world bugs and quirks popped up during my time.
Again, I'm giving Asmongold all his money. I don't got premium, so y'all just gonna have to bear with me, man, as I skip through these advertisements.
Yeah, I could see that.
I still found a great deal to appreciate with Shadows and its world building. While this conceit is not an uncommon backdrop for video games, which can be easy to mess up with insensitive representation, Assassin's Creed Shadows so far...
Of reference that you use for creating Yasuke as a character, or Yasuke as a character, I don't know how to pronounce it, is a Wikipedia fan fiction writer that credits and quotes himself inside of Wikipedia in order to make himself seem more legitimate. His name was Thomas Lockley, if you want to look more into it. And then you use the one-sided Tory gate as a marketing tool for Assassin's Creed Shadows, and then you make the story of the game in the first combat preview, maybe the second combat preview, be, oh, okay, it's a black guy here, so let's go ahead and play some hip-hop Japanese music while he gets in a fight with somebody. Then after...
Alright, so we're about to get into it now. That whole original Ubisoft preview with that Japanese hip-hop shit was obviously like, okay, they're trying to placate to the black demographic, but I didn't care for it. But this is where I kind of like wanted to start the video. Where are we? Like 20 minutes in? Damn, so I did watch like half the damn video already. I could have skipped all that shit. But yeah. Let me let him finish talking.
After that, you put out an apology to the Japanese audience, and you don't refer to Yasuke as a samurai, but now they're kind of treading the needle in between the two things, and they're like, is he or is he not? I don't know. I mean, I think nobody knows, because it happened hundreds of years ago, and there's probably not enough documentation for it. Nobody has any fucking idea. But the point is that the assertion and the insistence that he was or wasn't anything is probably not very accurate. And then on top of that, there's one more thing I'm forgetting. I'm forgetting the one important thing. I don't remember. But either way, you have all of these inaccuracies,
See, so I actually agree with him on everything in relevance to what he just said, right? The assertion or that he is or isn't anything was the problem, right? And a lot of people, in my opinion, did it just based off of race, and they're just upset that he's a black guy. My opinion is that not too many samurais get written into history. So despite this individual writing this book about Yasuke or Yasuke, despite, let's take away that whole book. Let's take away that whole history that they don't find credible, right? Despite all of that, not too many samurais get written into Japanese history. Like you know of Nobunaga, you know of all these people. When people get notoriety, it's because of something. You know what I mean? So the fact that we know about him, we know that he was black, we know that there was a samurai of that time, and they wrote him into Japanese history, like the 1500s, chose and said, you know what, this dude needs to be known to the point that we know him in 2025 and 2024. Then I would have to, in my opinion, I would have to lean to the latter that and say that he probably was a samurai. He probably was someone of notoriety. Am I saying that shit right? He's someone to note. Because just think about it. How many samurais died out there, died on the field, died in what they're doing, and they're nameless? How many nameless graves samurais there? How many graves of samurais that are nameless that are out there? He's not. Yasusuke is not. You know what I mean? So you just got to take that into account. Like we as humans don't just choose to put up hieroglyphics and write people into books for no reason. Like I'm just not gonna write about my neighbor and say, hey, here's Mr. Wilson. He lived next door to me. Sasuke did something. He's someone to note, and they made sure that we knew about him up until now. So that's where I'm leading with it. And why I believe that he may have been a samurai. He may have been like a bodyguard to Nobunaga or whatnot. He may have been what the book led him to be. Whether it's true or false, I'm going to say that it's kind of true, right? Just off the fact that he was written into history. And on top of that, if I see, okay, let's just talk about Asian stature. They're a little bit smaller than the Western stature, right? So if I see this bigger guy comes along and wants to embrace my culture and wants to be a part of my culture, I'm gonna utilize him for what I see, what I think he may be good at. And if he's bigger than the rest of the military out there or the enemy, of course I'm gonna give him a sword. Why not? He's gonna be my enforcer. Big 6-foot dude. I'm trying not to say it, but big black guy gonna be my enforcer. But teach his own, whatever. But
Consistencies and
like I was saying, I kind of like what he said. I like how Asmongold said it. Like you can't prove or disprove it. It is what it is.
in my opinion, right. The game is then re-announced to launch on the anniversary of a terror attack that happened in Japan.
That's crazy. I didn't even know that. I didn't know the game. It is what it is. That's crazy.
There's been a lot of mistakes here.
And can I agree with him that there's a lot of mistakes? Hell yeah. Would I have chosen Yasuke to put inside like a Japanese culture based Assassin's Creed? No, I wouldn't. It's like so I'm Jamaican, right? It's like what's this dude's name that sings let me see. Give me 1 second, let me look this up. Informer. Right? It would have been the equivalent of them saying, starting off Jamaican history or Jamaican culture, and the dude that they tried to use in Jamaican culture was this dude. Remember this dude? Snow? The dude that sings Informer. I know so that shit. I would have felt insulted. I'm pretty sure a lot of Jamaicans would have felt insulted, which is why I feel a lot of Japanese individuals are insulted. It's the fact that everybody's been waiting for like a Japanese Assassin's Creed. I have, because I just like the culture in general. But you wanted it to be more ingrained of like your own culture. It's kind of like I don't want to say it, this DEI thing. It's like almost like they just went and just let's make this. It's just bullshit. It's just bullshit. They could have went with a Japanese guy. They could have went with somebody of Japanese culture to represent this first line Assassin's Creed, and then in my opinion, they could have made him the secondary character. They could have made Yasuke the secondary character. You know what I mean? I think more people would have appreciated that had the main character as a Japanese individual and like a secondary side character or why am I lost for words right now? Or like what the hell? I can't. I'm lost for words. Batman, Robin. Basically, make him the freaking Robin of the game. You know what I mean?
And
so I get why people are upset.
I think.
Let me take that back. I get why Japanese people are upset. Now, when it comes to the whole American culture, people that are upset with this shit, I think it's more race shit. It's like, oh, I don't want to play with no black guy. That's just my opinion. That's just my opinion, because where's our stake in the game? I still want to play as this person because I'm black, but I get the term. I get the situation that's going on, right? And I think it was a wrong route for Ubisoft to take, but yeah.
That these mistakes.
Sidekick. They could have made Yasuke a sidekick. Okay, let's continue.
Mistakes are not being made intentionally. I think that with the Yasuke one, it was made intentionally. But with the other ones, I think that they're not. I think that it's just a matter of Ubisoft not taking the proper amount of time to create a game that accurately reflects and respects Japanese culture and tradition.
Definitely agree.
And I think in the process of that, they've alienated a lot of Japanese players, and I think they've alienated a lot of Western players as well. And they've damaged their own reputation in the process.
I agree. I do feel they alienated a lot of like Japanese players. Like if I was Japanese and whatnot, I wouldn't play this. I'm like, is this a representation of my culture? No, it looks like they just like, just trying to appease to the modern audience or whatnot. It's like I said, you chose snow to represent all of Jamaica in the beginning of in the beginning of like whatever, So I get it. Now when it comes to the Western aspect of it, I just think the shit is racist. Because what stake do you got in it? You know what I mean? It's just like what I see in a lot is that outside of like Miles Morales, black protagonists don't really do well in video games. There's not a lot of like Dante's out there, like Devil May Cry. You're not playing with a black main character like Dante or Nero, or there's not a lot of focal points on like black protagonists, and I don't think it's like received well amongst Western audience. So this is where I feel like the racism does come in, or
So I still stand very firmly in my belief that when this game comes out, Yasuke being a black samurai or not a samurai will not even be in the top 10 problems this game has when it releases. I think it's going to have a million other problems that are going to be totally more annoying than, oh wow, like they went with this creative choice, right? And I think also the problem is that when you want to use, like, if you want to have a character like Yasuke, I think that's fine. but you can't have you can't do something like that and then make an appeal to like authority and say, well, this is what people think it really was, and then say, oh, well, we're being creative at the same time. It's like you're kind of having like it's double speak basically, right? And so I don't like that choice. Simple as, yeah. And so
they weren't being creative. They were taking what they believe to be the easy way out. And I don't know what it is with developers nowadays or these companies nowadays, but they're really not focusing on their target audience of like for video games. Like this whole shit that's going on with like Naughty Dog and Neil Druckmann and all these people, like the people that they're worried about are not the individuals that are playing the games. You know what I mean? So I don't know. I guess they just like losing money. I don't know. This I don't think is as far gone as Naughty Dog. Like I'm still interested in playing this, and maybe because the reason I'm playing as a black guy, I don't really get too many black protagonists, so I'm excited about it. To the detriment of Japanese culture, that kind of sucks, you know. I thought they were gonna take it back to the drawing board and like switch out the roles or something like that, or maybe take out the female protagonist, right? And maybe I may suck at history, but I honestly think it would have done better if they would have had a Japanese individual with Yasasuke, a Japanese male with Yasasuke. And it has nothing to do with like, you know, being a how could I say? It's just I think it would have went better. I think it would have went better because I don't even know of any female ninjas or samurais or any female that played a big culture in, you know, or a big role in Japanese culture in reference to like fighting or things like that. I don't know. I think they were reaching, and because of that, it highlighted Yasasuke more. Now, if this was he had a male counterpart, they would have just looked at Yasasuke as a DLC or a sidekick character. In my opinion.
I mean, I'm going to play this game when it comes out for sure, right? Because of like just content, right? But man, they really made a lot of mistakes, and I think that
and it's not like I have anything against female protagonists. I'm just saying, I gotta put that out there. I'm just saying, within the realms of this game itself, I feel if they did two males, and the lead being a male Japanese character, because right now it just looks like a modern day audience grab, right? You got a black guy and a female, you know, strong female and a black guy that doesn't belong anywhere within this or doesn't represent the entire Japanese culture. He is part of the culture, but should he have been the focal point of this game? I don't think so. You know what I mean? And that's another thing. Like I get upset. I keep hearing people, oh, it's the black guys. Bro, this dude is not fictional. You know, he's definitely a part of their culture.
People that ran the like cultural awareness for this game at Ubisoft, I think you need to get new people because they did everything wrong. They took L's that people didn't even know existed. We had to go into like deep Wikipedia, you know, secondary sources in order to find out how big these L's really were. This is a huge, like, massive level fuck up. You heard of Toyotomi Hideyoshi? Isn't he the one that betrayed Oda Nobunaga? I think he is, right? But I don't know if that's what's going to happen. If they're going to show that, no, it's not. It is. I don't know. I thought it was some name like that. But either way, the point is that... what do you call it? Yeah, Hideyoshi? Yeah, I don't remember exactly. But my point is that I think this is like, it's been massively damaging for Ubisoft's reputation. Like, tremendously damaging.
Yeah, I feel like it's damaging, but Ubisoft has been going down a stupid slope for a while now. I do think this game is going to sell, though. But, like, I think the damage part, you know what it is? I think they they did good by postponing it. They did good by like waiting out the whole backlash that it was getting last year. Because if they had released it at the time that they said they were going to release it, it would have made no money. I think now the bullshit started to like subside a little bit.
And I think that like one way that you can tell that it's been damaging is that a lot of the promotional material that Ubisoft has used talking about this game, like at least in like some of the other pictures, it's like minimized Yasuke as like part of the story entirely. Like visually, it's kind of like what they did with Black Panther and or like sorry, with Finn in Star Wars for like China. Mistake.
And the shit that they did with Finn in China, that's a whole other racist bullshit, but whatever. That was definitely racist.
Implies ignorance. This was malicious self-righteousness. No.
I mean, it's a Star Wars person, and whatever, I'm not even going to get into it.
I actually think that it was ignorance. Like, I don't think that they, like, whenever they did the one Torygate thing, I don't think that they did that and they were like, oh, let's get this one over on Japanese people because, haha, America bombed you. I don't think that anybody at Ubisoft was thinking of that. I think that they just basically Googled, Japanese, symbols. They saw this and they were like, okay, let's go with that. That's.
I don't know. I don't really think it was ignorance. No. Ignorance to me means like lack of knowledge. They knew. They have people that research these games and research these characters and things like this. I think it was one of those, just like a Naughty Dog, little modern audience grab type thing. Let's play to black folks thing and let's see, let's get a black guy and a strong woman type thing. But I don't think it was ignorance. I think it was stupidity because this is supposed, Assassin's Creeds are like roughly based off of like the cultural dynamics of the world that they like. When you get Assassin's Creed Egypt, you get an Egyptian, and Assassin's Creed. What's another one? What's the one that took place? Basically, you get you play with the protagonists, and they represent the culture that you're playing with. Is he a part of Japanese culture? Yes. But would I want with this dude? No. Take it back to my reference to the reggae artist Snow. No, I wouldn't. No Jamaican would have liked to hear, hey, Snow is a big part of like Jamaican culture. I don't think it's ignorance. I think they're thinking, hey, this is going to make money with our audience that doesn't exist type shit, with our, gamers that doesn't exist, the people that don't buy the video games. I don't know what developers are thinking nowadays. I just don't understand it. I think they just like to lose money nowadays. I don't know.
It's the truth.
With the release finally coming soon, I'm eager to see how Ubisoft's take on Assassin's Creed's journey to Japan will come together. For more on the latest upcoming games during this busy opening of 2025, check out our final preview of Civilization 7. And of course, for everything else in the world of video games, stick with IGN.
I think it also was a matter of, I think it was the way that they introduced Yasuke. And I think that a lot of it was like, yeah, this is like this black samurai or whatever. And I think that if they had come in and said like, yeah, nobody really knows what happened with this guy, but we think he'd be a really cool character for us to tell our story through, I think that would have been a much better way, and I think that people would have been much less defensive about it, right? Because you have things like Afro Samurai, for example, and then I think that even in Nioh 2, Yasuke is like an optional boss in Nioh 2. But I think the issue that a lot of people...
I definitely agree with that. I think I said that earlier. Like, if you had made him like a side character, or not just completely saying, hey, this is your culture, this big black guy, here you go, Japanese culture, Yasuke. I agree with the take on that.
people took with the original implementation of this is that they added a character that had a very controversial history, and then they basically used this appeal to authority that turned out to be false to basically
controversial history, yes. Turned out to be false, we don't know. Which I don't know how come he's backtracking on that, because earlier he said we don't know.
Patronize anybody who disagreed with them. And I think that a lot of people felt like it was disrespectful. And I think that it was disrespectful, too. He seems like a cool, heavy fighter because he's 1.5 foot taller than everybody else in the game. Yeah, no, but like, he should have been a slow approach. Yeah, but I think that, again, if they had just basically introduced him as a character and said, like, yeah, this guy seems pretty cool. Like, we don't really know a lot about him, but we're going to use him as the main character. Everybody would have been like, I mean, yeah, of course you would have had some people saying, oh, woke. Yeah, definitely. But it would have been a fraction of what ended up happening.
I don't know if I could agree with that. Because, like I said, everyone has been looking. Everybody wants their culture to be represented in Assassin's Creed, right? Like, when they put out an Assassin's Creed, they want the culture to be represented correctly. So I do still feel like Japanese individuals would have had a problem with it. Any black protagonist game, I think the Western audience would have had a problem with it. Because, like I said, it doesn't really sell. I can only think about a handful of games where I play with individuals representing my skin color, you know. Not saying I'm complaining about it, it's just I play a lot of video games. It's just not something that's marketed.
So I'm very concerned with this game coming out. I think that the combat seems pretty below average, but we're going to have to wait and see what happens. There's the IGN. I think IGN did a pretty good job talking about this and looking over it, but yeah, it's really hard to kind of say. And I'll read a few comments about this, and then we'll move on. And stop buying this shit and allowing these issues to continue. Well, I mean, I stream the game, so of course I'm going to do it, right? But, I mean, I don't think anybody else should buy it if they don't think that it looks good, right? And, you know, at the end of the day, you've got to do what you want to do with your own money. It's disrespectful to Japanese culture and the story. I think that if you introduce the story and you say this is based off of historical context, but it's not one-to-one, and you're like, you introduce it that way. You set the frame of reference there. I think that you would have had a lot less people be defensive about it. And I think that's what happened. And I think that really, but it's also like, again, with the Yusuke thing, that's the point that I'm making, right? Is like, that's only one point in like a massive fucking, like, there's like 5 or 10 points of things that were done badly. Like, this is just one example of it. All Assassin's Creed games are like that. They're never like that one-to-one. I know that, but the difference is that I feel like with Assassin's Creed Shadows, they took this holier-than-now, like, virtue position about it, and I think that the patronizing nature of the way that they communicated that caused people to have a negative reaction to the game.
I agree.
So I agree with what you're saying, and that's it, right? I mean, but like, I don't think that's the full story. The writers were smug about it? Yes, they were. Yeah, there's a difference between inspired by historical events and historically accurate? Yeah. The same issue with Dragon Age, with Ninja Gaiden coming around the corner, the player base will leave and play that in an instant? Yeah. And also, I think that you can have realistic combat without having it be slow and kind of like, you know, not choppy, but like kind of mediocre, right? And so we'll have to wait and see what happens. The Last Samurai isn't factual, but it's a fun movie. So my understanding is that The Last Samurai is based off of something that was factual, but it's like it's a micro story that exists inside of a fictional, or sorry, inside of a.
So The Last Samurai was not factual, which brings me to another point. Like, everyone is more acceptance of the other type, you know, when it comes to their culture, but when you bring a black individual into their culture, it's crazy. But The Last Samurai was not factual. I think it was based off of like let me make sure I'm correct. So Last Samurai is a fictionalized account of real-life Zago Takamori, the samurai rebellion in Japan, the Meiji Restoration. The movie also incorporates elements of the life of a French military officer, Jules Burnet. French military officer who fought alongside Tuga, I can't pronounce that, samurai in Boshin. Tom Cruise played Nathaniel Al Green, American captain who was hired as emperor to train the Japanese army. Yeah, all that stuff it was all fictional. Let's see, let's Google this dude's. It was sent to train soldiers on how to use modern weapons and tactics. It says Burnett was sent to train Japanese soldiers on how to use modern weapons and tactics. He later chose to stay and fight alongside the Toge something samurai in their resistance against Emperor Meiji and his move to modernize Japan. Cruise's character in The Last Samurai isn't based on the true story of an American soldier, but inspired by the real history of a French army officer named Jules Burnet. But when they make movies like that, there's not a lot of backlash when it comes to the other complexion.
Historical outcome. Like, yeah, it's like historical fiction. I'm not sure, but like that's my understanding of it. It's a white savior narrative, more or less.
Yeah.
I mean, I watched.
Yeah, it's definitely the white savior narrative. That's why I like his take. I like his take. You said more or less, like he's very truthful about the shit. I like it. I like it. He knows.
The Last Samurai. I don't think that, and I think also, from my understanding, the Japanese loved that movie, and it made Tom Cruise like a huge celebrity over there.
And if they love that movie, I don't know. I'm just going by what he said. Just like he said previously, the white savior thing. You know what I mean?
So, if the Japanese people seem to like it, and, I mean, I didn't get that vibe, that doesn't really seem like it's the case. Yeah, I don't think that's what happened. I remember when the movie came out, and I was a kid, and because I remember after The Last Samurai came out, me and my friend Lowell, we got a, remember those old catalogs that they would give you, and you could give them $30 and they would send you a sword. Well, we did that, and so after we watched The Last Samurai, and the sword was such a piece of shit, it bent whenever we were trying to cut cardboard with it, and we did it out in his driveway. It was a good movie. Yeah, it was. And, yeah, cutting a shit with a fucking sword ball. Yell bot? That's why you got yelled at all the time? Yeah, I did. I did. I got yelled at a lot. But, because it accurately depicted culture? Yeah, definitely. And, he didn't save anyone. He was just there to observe the end of the samurai. Oh, yeah.
In a way, you could make the argument that Assassin's Creed, this Shadows, is like The Last Samurai. This dude comes along of a different culture, a different race, and joins a different culture, embraces it, and helps them out. It's literally the same plot of The Last Samurai. It's just set in the 1500s, and but you know what it is? It's they don't really accept us mixed in to too much, man. And you know what I mean by us. I'm not gonna go crazy, but it's just the reality of things.
Yeah, and I think that's also another issue is that, yeah, Tom Cruise was not The Last Samurai. Tom Cruise observed The Last Samurai, and he told The Last Samurai's story. Very big difference there. massive, tremendous omega difference.
Again, we don't know if this dude was a samurai or not. But again, all I can say, he was written into history. I'm just not going to write some arbitrary person into history to be remembered, down the road. So, is there significance to Sasuke? There probably is. There probably is a big significance to him in the 1500s. We just don't know. It's very vague. But no one gets hieroglyphics and shit wrote of them and depicted of them for no random reason. You know what I mean?
So yeah. Another issue with Yasuke is when he destroys a market, a samurai would never do that. It isn't respectful. I mean, I don't know enough historically about that. I mean, I would assume that's true, but I just don't know that for a fact. So yeah, I mean, that's the way at least I see it, and I'm looking at a lot of this stuff myself. But I do find it to be very, very odd.
All right, let's go with this. Now let's go through the comments. The comments is crazy. I saw a Japanese comment saying the bug where the main character is foreign is not removed. Please fix. Bro. Listen, look at this. Look at this toxic shit. They should just rename it Assassin's Creed Johnny Somali. Assassin's Creed in Italy was an Italian protagonist. Assassin's Creed Egypt has an Egyptian one. Assassin's Creed Greece has two protagonists, both of which are Greek, and come from and then comes to Assassin's Creed Japan, something that was requested for forever, and Ubisoft goes black man in all of Japan, one of the main characters. I don't understand how one of the entire leadership team. Okay, first of all, this whole fucking comment is stupid, right? Being an Italian, being an Egyptian, being Greek, it's not a race. It's not a race. These are all cultural shit. So technically, they got it right. Developers decide you could be head humans, but should not hunt birds. Bro, I like how developers decided you could be head humans, but you shouldn't hunt birds. Everybody just want to kill shit. Historical African slave who becomes a full-fledged samurai. Wasn't this debunked, and wasn't the specialist claiming this referring to his own fictional work? Listen, none of this was debunked. We don't know. We only know about certain things. But like I said, you have plenty of samurais that died on the battlefield. We don't know their name. But 1500 Japan chose to historicalize. Is that even a word? They chose to put him into history. That's why we know of Sasuke's name. So, with that being said, would you think that he was just some nobody? No, I don't believe he's nobody. I see the replies. Yes, but Ubisoft refused to backtrack. Why would they backtrack? No more than walking freak show. Yes, Sasuke certainly existed, but no more than a walking freak show that Nobunaga walked around with him because most of Japan had never seen a person with black skin. That's all he was. We don't know that. Thanks for the freak show comment. Yo, some of these things are toxic. Lord Jesus. Sasuke playing as a pirate makes more sense, whatever. At this rate, all of history was proven to be fraud. Again, he made up a book. He made up but Sasuke himself is known and is well known in Japanese culture. He's a bang. So copies, exactly. A single Japanese male ninja protagonist, stealth, parkour, assassination, combat, and ninja weapons, and Ubisoft would have made bank. They would have sold so many copies. That's exactly what gamers have wanted for years. You almost have to laugh at how much work they had to do to fuck this up. I absolutely agree with that comment. I said it earlier in the video. Bro, that's all they wanted. I wanted to play as a fucking ninja or samurai, something that really represents their culture in a more broader aspect, because that's what we know. But yeah, they would have made bank. Definitely would have. Use attacks and combat. But that's what it is. That's what it is. I did his video because his is a little bit on the lighthearted side, and Asmongold doesn't seem biased about any of this stuff, so I kind of appreciate it. But that's it, bro. Later. Till next time.